We're going to be talking this morning about Honduras, Santa Rosa de Copan, Honduras. And it was really, we're going to share a little bit about the ministry there, but we're going to talk specifically about the deaf ministry and the deaf school that's taking place there right now. And so what I did, I asked Rex, my son, to go ahead and share first, because he was on that first AIM team that worked there that actually started reaching out to the deaf in Santa Rosa. And so he'll share a little bit, and then we'll have some video, and then Enrique will share some with us as well.
Good morning. So, as my dad just said, I was part of the first AIM team 4 years ago that went down to Honduras, and we got involved in all these kind of ministries. But me and one of my teammates, Matt Bridges, there was an opportunity to work with the deaf, and that really helped get started. Whenever there was a lady that came down from the States, and she began teaching the people that were working with the work there in Honduras sign language. And so that helped get people excited about it, and that opened up doors to schools. And we started out, we met one little deaf girl, and that really opened the door. But then it just kind of got to, we were doing sign language and stuff like that, but it really didn't get going until this past summer. I went back down there with my dad and Enrique, and the whole entire month of July, it really opened lots of doors. There's a lot more people that we met. They were able to see Enrique, who's deaf, but he knew ASL, Mexican Sign Language, and they were really impressed by that. But that also opened up the door for a need that we saw because of all the deaf there, a need for a deaf school. So this video that will be shown this morning it's a video that's a little bit over 10 minutes long, and it's intended to first show an overview of the mission, and then it's going to start explaining why was the need for the deaf ministry, and share a few stories of some of the people, some of the deaf, how they came and how they are improving. Then it will show the start of the deaf school, which actually started the first week of February this past month. And then it will show the inauguration that they held for it. And so that video will really help explain a lot of stuff about the deaf ministry in Honduras, but obviously if you have any questions about it after, we can help explain it. But after the video, Enrique, who was actually recently hired by the Mission Outreach there, he'll share for a few minutes what some of his plans are and what he'll be doing in the work in Honduras. So now you can play the video.
Using my Mexican Sign Language. I know how to use ASL now. I know both those sign languages. But how are we going to do when we go there to be able to get there? So we studied some of their called ratio.
Gracias. The Laisho sign language. And so I practiced really hard. Finished, we're ready, we flew to Honduras. Looked around, then we arrived there in Santa Rosa de Copan. It's really a smaller town. It's a beautiful town, really small. So going through the roads. There I was working with Rex, and they said, we have two deaf girls. And so all over there, we don't know if there's a lot of deaf, but maybe there's several deaf. Maybe there's 40 deaf in that area, something like that. Okay. So we needed to be there. We'd have to go out and start searching for the deaf, but we didn't know where they were. So we went to the church on Sunday for worship. We got there, we met. There's a deaf girl there, maybe 17. I met, talked to her, but wow, it's really different. She wasn't very educated. And so I'm thinking, wow, how am I going to communicate? It's a lot more difficult with her signs. And then there's another little girl. Her name was Zuri. Really beautiful, little cute little girl. I signed with her, and she'd tell me her name. I'd tell her my name, but really a lot more difficult to communicate. So it really touched my heart. And we went to the church, we worshiped, and I was encouraging them, hey, look, you gotta sign with us. We're going to sign the songs, encouraging them the things they need to do, showing them that they need to love God, that He loves them. And so they really encouraging them to get involved in the worship. So we were there for a week, kind of running around trying to find him. Bet his daughter is there, Dennis's daughter, Abby. And she said, there's a house over here. They have deaf people in it. Okay, let's go visit. We went there. We met the people. And I thought, I need a man. I need to find some guy that I can go work with. They said, okay, there's a deaf guy over there. So we went there to the house, knocked on their door, and here he came. It was the father. He's like, who are you? What do you want? He said, I'm looking for the deaf. So they went and got his daughter. Her name is Flavia. And she came up. She said, you're deaf? I said, yeah, I'm deaf. You have a husband? Yeah, he's over there. Okay, please tell him to come. Okay, she went and got it. Here comes this guy. And he's signing. We're talking. Nice to meet you. He said, I'm deaf. Said, you're deaf? Really? Where are you from? I said, I'm from Mexico. He said, what is that sign? Oh, Mexico. They had a little different sign for their word for Mexico. So we talked back and forth. We met him. So then it was getting close to Sunday. I thought, we got to figure out how we can reach out to the deaf. He said, you know, this guy, Hugo is his name. He used to go to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. So you need to be careful with that. Matt said be careful going around dealing with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So we understood. Okay. So, but we're curious. We just want to meet the deaf. And so we met him. We said, hey, I want to invite to church over here with the deaf. Maybe you know some other deaf people. We can meet them. Hugo was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I said, maybe you can, maybe you know friends around the deaf community. He said, oh, yeah, I know every one of them all over the place. I said, maybe tomorrow on Sunday, maybe after church on Sunday, you and I will go around and we'll start meeting all the deaf people. Okay? Hugo says, okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So the next day, it's on Sunday. They have church there in the afternoon. They start worshiping like 3 in the afternoon. And so we're outside sitting, waiting because there's a bus coming to pick us up. We're waiting, and here comes the deaf. I said, what? We were shocked. There was a big deaf crowd. 7 deaf people came walking towards us. And I thought, wow. And Hugo was like, oh, yeah. After I left, Hugo went out driving all the way around meeting the deaf, said, hey, there's this deaf guy here. Let's go meet him. And he picked him up. He went to another place, picked all these people up, and he came and brought them there. And that's where they came to meet me. So when we all went to church and worshiped together and encouraged them how to sing and do things. And there's a guy named Phil. He was shocked. He looked. He says, wow, look at all these deaf. He was really touched. And afterwards, he was really interested, met all the deaf, shaking their hands. And he said, hey, Dennis, we want Enrique. He's really good working with these. Thank him. Tell him we need him to work now. And Dennis said, no, nope, nope. He hadn't graduated yet. So he said, I don't care. Just go ahead and bring him right now. And Dennis was like, nope, that ain't happening. So they were really anxious. And he told me, Dennis told me what he was sharing with him. And so they allowed me to start teaching with the deaf. And we encouraged them, allowed us to have the deaf group together for a Bible class. But I know they couldn't read. They can't read at all. They don't understand the words. So I was thinking, wow, how am I going to teach them? And so, we could teach on a higher level, but we really had to change and bring it down to their level to be able to understand. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I thought, okay. So I got on the computer and I started looking for all the pictures of the stories. And I'd take the words, the verses, and I'd put pictures with them. So ready they came, and I started teaching. Dennis was there. And there was a hearing couple there. Their daughter's deaf, and they were watching. After I started teaching, and I was signing and explaining and showing the pictures, and I was trying to act things out to show them, trying to bring it down to their level to understand. And they'd say, what does that mean? And so I would be able to explain those things to them in all the different pictures. And as they saw the different pictures, everything, they began to understand. Yeah, we understand that. We understand that. It's all clear to us. They said, hey, Hugo said, hey, I want us to study every single day. I said, yeah, that's right. Of course, we had a schedule we had to follow with the church and the mission there, and so, but we scheduled different times. They were really eager to study and wanting. It was really a beautiful thing. So I began to think and to plan, and we discussed it. I discussed with Dennis and thinking, can I move there? And so, yeah, I think I really want to come here and to work with the deaf in Honduras. And so I want to be able to teach them the Word of God and to help them with their education as well. Teach them sign language and the different meanings of the words. And so we prayed, and we had a hope to be able to make that happen. And so we talked with Phil. Really the elders, all the elders of the church came. We had this meal together with all the deaf. And just telling them goodbye. It was our time to leave. And I said to them, okay, so we have all these deaf. And Phil began to think. He says, hey, we're going to take and start a deaf school here. And all the deaf were just shocked. They were like, couldn't believe it. Say, telling him, oh, thank you. And so I explained everything to them. They said, oh, wow, we really want that. And they were so excited to be able to have a school and get an education. And so we prayed, we encouraged them. I'm going to leave, but I want to encourage you. Don't be focusing on me, on Enrique, and that he's really skilled and I'm really enamored by him. But you need to focus on God. And you continue and just keep fighting and keep going. And so the deaf said they understood. Okay, I'm going to leave, and you keep going. And they still continue to attend the church. And now they've started their deaf school, as you've seen on the video. So we thank God for that He's blessed us. Amen.
Well, if you're not inspired, you need to go to the doctor.